afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads, and boy, do I have a special guest for all of you today. I have with me the current, reigning, defending, Create a Pro World Heavyweight Champion, the Gift Master, Clothesline Jesus, the tweener himself, Max Caster. How's it going, Max?
Going really good, man. Thank you.
Yeah, I had to write all those down so I didn't forget.
The sad thing is you missed a couple.
Oh no! What did I miss?
You missed the Prince of Tweens, Max Caster, and you also missed the new one, the Cuck of Cucks.
Oh, I forgot about that. I saw that one on your YouTube video. Dude, you had me like hysterically cracking up with that one.
Yeah, I really wanted to put a lot into that promo. It's on my Twitter, by the way, if anyone wants to check it out. It's at Max Caster, and it's for the match coming up this week with Connor Claxton at Dojo Wars 100. That's a big match, and I wanted to do a really good one for him.
Yeah, well, and that's a big thing, Dojo Wars 100. In general, that we've got to 100 already. Holy cow.
Yeah. I don't remember the first one I wrestled at. It was probably in the 60s, maybe late 50s of the Dojo Wars.
Right.
But yeah, 100. That's big. I know Emil is really excited for it. I know Wheeler and Frankie in the main event. Those guys are gonna kill it. They have a huge match coming up. I'm excited for it. So yeah, it's. Really, I'm really expecting it to be a great show.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. Now, I wanted to ask you this. When I was growing up, I was a Hogan mark because I'm going to date myself here.
Okay.
And that's how I got into wrestling, like WrestleMania 5 when it was in Atlantic City, and when my dad took me to SummerSlam in Philly when they had the Warrior and Rude in the cage as the main event. That's what kind of hooked me. My question was, were you a fan growing up, and what was, like, if you were, what was the thing that got you really into it?
It's tough to say. I feel like I was a fan for as long as I can remember, but it was never really one specific thing. Like, we had the video game on Super Nintendo, the Raw video game.
Okay.
So we would play that, and I was too little to know when things came on. So I knew on Saturdays, Superstars or whatever, or Livewire would come on, and I would check that out. And eventually it got down to Raw and Nitro, but it was never really one specific thing. But I do remember, like, the first time I was ever, like, blown away was when the New Age Outlaws pushed Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie off the stage in the dumpster.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah, that one got me. Yeah, they got me on that one. But yeah, I've always been a fan. But I really can't say, it was I went to an event or something. I think it was just always kind of there.
Okay, well that's cool. Now I wanted to ask. Now you were trained by Pat Buck and Brian Myers.
Correct.
Okay, now, what was that experience like, considering that Pat, did a lot of training for OVW back in the day that a lot of people really don't know about?
Yeah, Pat is a great trainer. He's got such a different perspective on wrestling, whereas Brian knows what's going on in WWE now, and he can kind of teach us how to succeed now. Pat has all the knowledge of the WWE's developmental system from years before, like 10 years ago. And he was in there all up until it became, I think, NXT. So he was there for a long time. So he's got so much knowledge from so many people that maybe aren't around, like Rip Rogers or Al Snow. I know he's got a school now in England, but that's a lot of knowledge that he's passing along to us. So I love training with Pat. It's always a different class when he's there, compared to anyone else. And I do want to give credit to Alex Reynolds because he was a trainer at Create a Pro when it first opened as well.
Okay, cool. And I think it's really cool to see Brian back on WWE television again.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. I guess the only downside is he's not there to teach me as much, but I do love watching him, and I learn a lot from that and what he does, and I love his character.
Yeah, I love it's like the Chuck Norris-y kind of thing. I enjoy it.
I think he'd be upset if I said this, but I'll say it anyway. I think he's a lot like the tweener. He's always there to troll someone. He's a lot like the tweener.
That's funny. Well, I actually have a question from our chat. They want to know, Babs wants to know, the coolest and uncoolest person that you've touched tees with, and who do you specifically want to touch tees with that you have not yet?
Coolest, maybe it was Matt Tremont. I forget who I had a match with, but I got out of the ring and
that was pretty cool. I remember that.
Yeah, I was really psyched, and the crowd started chanting bulldozer at him because they wanted him to get up and touch tees, and I walked right over to him. I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna do it," and he touched tees. So that was really great, and that he's a CZW legend. So. To be in front of the Dojo Wars crowd, in front of DJ, in front of Emil, in front of the locker room, whoever was out there watching, to have the crowd, you guys chant at Tremont to give me the rub, that was great. I love that. Uncoolest, I don't know. Uncool people I don't touch tees with. So all the people who refuse to touch my tee is those people are uncool. So I guess I have not touched their tees. But the tees that I want to touch, Maria Manic. I'd love to touch her tees.
Yeah.
She never lets me.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I would go along with that too.
Yeah, she's awesome. But yeah, still the elusive tease that I've never touched. So if she's listening, she knows where to find me.
Yeah, we could tag her in this when we're done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I wanted to bring up your latest title defense that you just had at Create a Pro with Tony Nese, Alex Reynolds, and Kevin Tibbs in a fatal 4-way. What was that like? Because you got to work with, obviously, Tibbs and Reynolds, but Tony Nese that was in the CWC, and now he's, bouncing back and forth on WWE television.
Yeah, that was surreal because that's a guy who knows so much, and he's seeing so much as we speak. He's in the thick of it, and it's such a unique position for him to be on the road, wrestling on national TV on a weekly basis, and then on the weekends to go and wrestle guys like me. So I remember that week, which is only a couple weeks ago, maybe less, but that was on a Thursday. We had that match, a fatal 4-way, and I really liked that match, and it could not have been a bad match because the other three guys in there were so good, are so good, and that was on a Thursday, and then the next night we had a show in Queens, and Nese was at that show as well, and he wrestled in the main event on that. And then fast forward to Monday, I'm working at it as an extra on Raw in Hartford, and Nese is in the locker room, and he has a match on Raw, and I'm in the arena watching him have a match, and I'm like, man, this guy is living the dream right there, and that's something for everyone to strive for. So I think he's more of an inspiration than anything right now.
See, that's awesome. I didn't even know you were an extra at that show in Hartford.
Yeah, well, they didn't use me, so you wouldn't have seen me. So,
but still, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh no, I was there. It's I think my third time being an extra for WWE.
That's awesome because you've done it, and then I know Maxwell Jacob Feinstein, he's done it. I've seen him at least twice.
Yeah, I think he's done it twice. Bear Bronson has done it a couple times. We were there this time with Anthony Bowens. He wrestles at WrestlePro a lot. He wrestles at Create-A-Pro as well.
Yeah.
VSK was there. Half of Massage Envy, which is a tag team you guys need to check out like immediately. So they're great. Massage Envy, check them out. But yeah,
that's just really cool that a lot of you guys are getting those opportunities, even if it's just, you know, as an extra for the time being. You know what I mean? Just for the experience.
Sure. And here's where I promote Create-A-Pro is because Brian Myers or Kurt Hawkins, he sets that up for us, and trust me, we're good enough to go out and earn that on our own. But when somebody needs something last minute and we're in the area, he knows the people there, and he knows that we can do whatever they need. So he says, guys, get to Hartford or get to the Barclays Center or wherever we have to go, and we're like, great, thanks, Brian, and we go and we try and make him proud. So that's what Create-A-Pro has afforded us, not only the best education, because I'm only 2.5 years in, and I'm where I am right now, and I'm going to go so much farther because of what I've learned and what I'm given. But that gives you so many opportunities, Create-A-Pro. So Brian and Pat, those guys are connected, and if you're a hard worker, you're going to end up in good spots, and you're going to end up wrestling a lot.
Yeah, well, and then I've seen, like, they have, because I've seen it here and there on YouTube, they've had Grim from Grim's Toy Show come in, and that's, you know, good exposure for you guys, you know, because a lot of people follow him and all those things, so it puts, you know, another set of eyes on Create-A-Pro.
Yeah, the Grimm stuff is really great. I really want to be on his show because I've seen what it does for a guy like Bronson, where he tells us stories where on random days some kid'll walk into a place with his mom or something, and he'll look up at Bronson and he'll go, "You're Mophead from Grimm's Toy Show," and it's. He's just getting recognized at all these weird places. So it did a wonder for him, and I'd like that opportunity. But yeah, Grimm was great, super nice guy, him and Doo-Hop, and they came in and were a great help to our show. We had a show in June, July, something like that, over the summer, where it was Grimm was on there, and so many of his fans showed up. A lot of kids, and kids make a really great crowd, especially Grimm fans, because those kids are rowdy. So I think the more Grimm, the better. Going forward, it's
always fun to have a hot crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely we definitely had to thank him for the house that day.
Well, that's really cool, because I remember, and then he did. And he put it on his channel that when they had a tag match, him and Doo-Hop against Bear Bronson and Feinstein.
Yeah. He I think he also had a ladder match against Bronson at a different show, which was really insane. You should check that out.
I'm gonna have to Google that when we get off of here.
Yeah, please. And he's For a guy who has a YouTube show and doesn't really wrestle, he's such a great character, and I love what he's able to do. So good job by Grimm for helping us out.
Yeah, that's really cool that he does that. What I wanted to ask you is, when you wrestle, is there like a specific style you wanna use, like what I mean, like a cruiser, or? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Definitely not a cruiserweight style. I feel like I have the athleticism to do anything, but I definitely like wrestling a safer style, and not necessarily to the point where I'm not going to look like I'm trying to win. It's more about just preserving my body and making sure I can wrestle the next day and the next day.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so you'll probably never see me doing any dives to the outside. You won't see me getting dropped on my head a lot. You won't see me dropping people on their heads a lot. So I definitely protect myself, and I do my best to protect everyone else in there. So
it's funny you mention that when you say getting dropped on the head. The first thing that comes to mind was when, and I think you were there, when Shlak dropped, I can't remember the kid's name.
Tahir James, yeah.
Yeah, with the Steiner screwdriver, and I just cringed. Ooh.
That was really tough to watch. And I know Shlak is doing a death match this week at Dojo Wars 100. Him and Cannonball, and then Tahir's supposed to be there as well. I think he's in a tag or something. But yeah, that was really. I was watching that too. I was on the other side of the room when that happened, and I was just. I thought we were going to have to call an ambulance, seriously. So
I think
I'm happy he was okay
when that happened.
I was so happy he was okay. I saw him later. I was like, "Hey, dude, are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, great."
Yeah, but I totally understand what you're saying, because there's and I don't want to knock people, but there's like certain wrestlers out there that do that too much, where they take unnecessary risks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like if I can have a great match with Yuta, and I don't have to put myself in unnecessary danger or put him in any bad spots. And we had a great match, and the crowd was hot. And you told me, I've been told by several people that was one of the best matches Dojo Wars has ever seen, if not the best. So if I can do that without taking any unnecessary risks, and I could go out and tear the house down, then, why do it? I just succeeded. And, all the other guys out there who are putting themselves in danger and not getting the reaction that we got, you have to kind of take a step back and reassess what they're doing.
I agree with you. It's like if you can get the crowd that hot without, doing something crazy, why would you?
Right. So that's my whole thing. If we can have a great match without that, then we don't need it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Who is your favorite opponent since you've been in the business the last 2 years and some change?
Man, there's a bunch. I like Yuta at Dojo Wars. Him and I have had, I think, some really good matches, really good chemistry. Maxwell Jacob Feinstein, a guy that I train with. Bear Bronson, another guy that I train with. We end up wrestling a fair amount. So I like wrestling them a lot. And Alex Reynolds, one of the guys who trained me, if I could wrestle him on any given day, if you told me to go out into a parking lot in front of unsuspecting people with someone to wrestle, I would say give me Alex, and he'll make them sit back and watch, because he is probably the best wrestler. If you're in the ring with him, you'll figure it out really quick. He is so good. So I'd say those 4 guys are among my favorites.
Now, is there any particular company you're kind of like eyeballing for the future that, like, hey, that's where I'd like to be, or get in, with them?
Well, CZW main roster, I believe that'll happen pretty soon.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, from all the indications that I'm getting, I believe it'll happen very soon. Not to count my chickens before they hatch. That, of course, TV companies, TNA, ROH, WWE, those are all great. I I think my goal for the immediate future is to kind of get out there a little bit more and travel more, maybe go into Maryland or Virginia or more north into the New England area or out west in more in Jersey and PA. And I've been sticking around New York a lot, and the Athletic Commission rules, I think, are about to kick in 2017, and a lot of shows, a lot of companies are going away. So it's almost
really?
yeah. They've passed a law that I don't know if it'll get overturned, that every company has to have their own individual license instead of borrowing a license from a bigger company like Create a Pro or NYWC.
Oh, that's going to kill companies.
Yeah, so a lot of companies, I think, are either going to go away or they're going to have far fewer shows, maybe a couple a year if they can even get that money together. So we'll see what happens, but it's almost out of necessity now that I get out of here.
Yeah, it's like you see the writing on the wall.
Yeah. So as soon as the year is up, a lot of companies are going to go away, and maybe towards the end of this year, there's going to be like a big boom of like 8 shows in one weekend or something, and then everything just goes away.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, who would be your dream opponent? Like, if you could pick anybody, who would it be?
Oh, well, Nigel McGuinness. He's my favorite wrestler of all time, and he's retired. But I think every interview I do, or every time someone asks me this, I make it a point to call him out, and I hope that he hears it, and I hope he gets inspired or pissed off or whatever he needs to be. Whatever he needs to be to come wrestle me in front of, like, I don't care if it's 20 people, I don't care if it's 20,000 people, but that guy to me is the greatest of all time. So he'd be my dream opponent. Same thing with Kurt Hawkins. We've never wrestled in front of I don't even think one-on-one, not in front of a crowd. So he's a guy that I steal a lot from. I kind of borderline took his name, Prince of Tweens. So I'd love to wrestle him just to kind of have that moment with one of my trainers.
Yeah, that would be cool. I was going to say, is that how the name came about, through Hawkins?
Absolutely. No, I stole it from him. Absolutely. Look, the tweener is a troll. That's the character. So if I could, and Hawkins does, I don't think he's on board with the tweener. So if I can kind of troll him at the same time that I'm doing the tweener and it's starting to get over, then I'm a successful troll, and
it's
trolling.
Like the best of both worlds.
Oh, absolutely. I'm trolling the Prince of Queens because I'm the Prince of Tweens, and that's a fact.
Hey, well, if it works, because you've noticed it, dude. Every week when you're coming to Dojo Wars, you're more and more over.
This is true. I believe I am the most over at that place.
Well, you saw last week, or was it last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, where the crowd was going nuts for you to touch tees with everybody.
That's right. I think that was the match with Yuta right before that.
Yes, that's what it was.
Everyone was hot for that, and that really set the tone for that match. And before we even could get started wrestling, the fans were so hot, and they kept chanting for tees and no tees. I don't even remember. I'm waiting for that match to come out because I really want to watch that back and send it out to promoters and say, hey, here's what we can do. Here's what we've been doing.
Yeah, that would be a huge showcase of your talent.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch that back. But yeah, every match that I have, it seems every time I come out there, it gets the reaction gets bigger and bigger. And even there's some weeks where the Dojo Wars crowd is quiet and they're not as generous with their reactions. So you gotta have to work for it. But I feel like every time when I work for it, I get a little bit out of them, or I get a little bit more and more and more, and it builds up, and it turns out to be the best match on the card.
Yeah, well, that's why this week, this Wednesday should be very exciting, because I think there's going to be a big crowd for Dojo Wars 100.
Yeah, everybody's doing a good job pushing it online. I hope we get some new faces as well as the old faces. I hope we run out of chairs so we can't. So there's standing room only. I would really love that place to be packed, because I know I'm gonna go out there and kill it with Connor. I know the main event's gonna kill it. DJ Hyde versus Ryan Gallione.
That's gonna be a good one too. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Gallione, I know that. That's another guy I train with. He is great. So him against DJ in such a big spot, that's a chance for him to showcase himself and push himself to the next level. And then, of course, the death match and all the matches underneath on the card. That like for $5.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
For a couple hours out of your Wednesday night, like what are you doing on a Wednesday?
Yeah, it's like I'm not doing anything exciting on a Wednesday night anyway.
Like, come on down.
I'll tell you a funny story. My son, when he found out the whole card, he goes, he's like, "Can I come? Can I come this week?" And I'm looking at his school schedule, and he's off Thursday and Friday, so I was like, yeah, all right, it's probably going to run long, but yeah, you could come.
Yeah, look, hopefully the show doesn't go to midnight or whatever, but I think it'll be a nice long show, and we'd love to have him there, because I know how much he loves coming there. I know how much he loves touching tees with the tweener.
Yeah.
So yeah, bring him down. I'm really excited for him to see what's gonna happen.
Well, you'll get a kick out of this. I'll tell you real quick. When we before we left last week, I have my laptop where I'm talking to you right now on my dining room table, and I had my head turned, and I hear this boom in my living room, and I turn my head. I'm like, what the hell is that? He took one of his wrestling buddies. You remember the old wrestling buddies from back in the day? He's pedigreeing the wrestling buddy in the living room. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm pedigreeing him. I'm beating him up. And then he had him in like Hell's Gate, the Undertaker's submission move, and I'm like, oh my god.
He's a natural. He got a natural on your hands.
Oh, well, that's what he keeps telling me. I said, what are you gonna be when you grow up? He's like, I'm gonna be a wrestler.
Hey, look, it's possible. I'll tell you a story. I was before I started training, I was talking online to Damian Gibbs. And he did his first Dojo Wars recently. I know that. He's a WrestlePro guy. He's a Pat Buck guy. And he was like, hey, come check out a show. It's my first show. And I meet him, and I talk to him, and I've told him this. He knows this. I talked to him, and after his match, and I realized that this is a guy just like me. He's a normal guy, and that kind of gave me the inspiration to go out and seek training and become a wrestler. So if your son wants to become a wrestler, it's possible, because the schools are out there, the places are out there, people have rings and people have knowledge. So if he wants to do it when he's old enough, go, let him try. Why not?
Absolutely, because honestly, I always wanted to try, but for medical reasons and different things, I wasn't able to. Mm-hmm. But I was probably... Yeah, I was in 8th grade. I'll never forget it. In my 8th grade yearbook, it said, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a pro wrestler. I wanted to be like Arn Anderson, because I thought Arn Anderson was cool with the 4 horsemen and everything.
Yeah, Arn's a good one.
Yeah, well, what happened, Max, was he got the bug because he saw Kurt Robinson, who is doing other things now, at Dojo Wars, and how young he is doing his thing. And my son was like, really? He's, that young doing that? I was like, yeah, he's, started at such and such an age. And then it kind of got the wheels turning.
Yeah, and that's all we need, is we need that one thing. And I'm happy that it's Kurt, because he's a nice dude.
Oh God, yeah, he's a good kid. He's been on the show before, and his potential's crazy.
Absolutely.
But before we get out of here, Max, I wanted to ask you, what does the future hold for the tweener?
That's an interesting question. I feel like at a place like CZW, the tweener will be fine because you have Emil there watching it, you have DJ there watching it, and they know what it's all about. But I feel like the hardest thing with the tweener is when you say that to promoters, they kind of say, well, what are you doing? What's the gimmick? What's the character? They don't necessarily get it, and it's hard for me to explain, where I've boiled it down to basically I'm a troll. I troll people, but it's the character basically is me. Like, this is me. If you spend, a night or a day out with me, it's this is what I do. I just, find ways to make jokes and troll people, and that's what I want to do. So this is the best embodiment of me, and I feel like as soon as it gets on a big stage and people see what it is, then it's gonna skyrocket. Then it's gonna.
I know what you mean. It's like you have to physically see it to understand it.
Right. It's so difficult to explain, to where everyone's saying a tweener, that's too much of an insider term. It's not really even about the term. It's just about what it is. And as long as people are able to see it, and that's what I need. I need that one major platform to go do it, then it'll take off, and then the tweener will be everywhere. Then everyone will want to be a tweener. First of all, let me say this: everyone was trying to be a tweener before I was a tweener, and then I came along and I made being a tweener an actual thing. I made it a good thing.
And
so
you made it cool, trendy.
Right. So everybody who's out there, and people still do it, and this is not me hating on anyone in particular, but I see it pretty much in every single show that I go to, is a lot of guys don't want to play their part. A lot of guys want to do the cool stuff and the flashy stuff, but sometimes the fans don't want to see that. You gotta have to listen to the fans, and nobody listens to the fans more than me, because the fans respect me, okay? They want to see me touch tees. They want to see me do my thing. They know me. They let me kiss their girlfriends. It's on record. It happens, and I do it. Very important, very true, very high energy. But everyone wanted to be a tweener. Before I came along, I called them all out. I said, I am a tweener. I am the tweener. And no one else can take that away from me. Nobody can take that away from me. They could all try, but nobody will do it as well as I do.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because when you say the word tweener, you say it's an insider term, but that's for like super marky people that, say those types of things,
Sure, yeah, and like when the tweener was coming about, I'd Google tweener because I want to see what people think about it.
Okay.
And there's not much out there. There's like Urban Dictionary on it, and there's a couple of wrestling threads online. It's like, do tweeners get over, or who is the best tweener? And you have people saying, tweeners never get over. Tweeners, they'll never sell tickets. They'll never be the main star. You need baby faces and heels. Well, I've cracked the formula. I'm sorry, but I did. And I have broken the game. I have hacked into the mainframe, and now I am the tweener, and it is over.
Yeah,
so
you changed the game.
I changed the game. I got in there, I changed the HTML, and everything is different now. So when I'm out there, the rules are out the window, and that is the most important thing to me, because if I had a box to work within, that's fine, but it's not going to be as entertaining as me being me, which is way outside the box. So touch tees with me, tween life, tweener baby, cuck of cucks, prince of tweens, clothesline Jesus, which, yes, I am calling DJ Hideout. I'll call him out right now. The only place I'll ever wrestle him is a CZW main roster show. So if he wants to take that name away from me and see if he can survive my clothesline, then we'll do that there. And wait, I missed one. Oh, the Gift Master. I'll shout out Hokay, who is Hokay19 on Twitter. He makes the best gifts of wrestling ever.
He really does. I see him everywhere.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he's the first and I think only guy to do Dojo Wars, which is why I give him the respect. And it came to light this week. I have a move named after him, the Hokay19.
Yes, which I saw that.
Yes, which is the springboard eye poke. And I wasn't the first. Desmond Xavier was the first one to name a move after him, but I feel like after I did it, a bunch of other guys did it.
Like
and
it meant something.
It started to mean something. Everybody wants more gifts, but nobody is the gift master because I took it first. How smart is that?
There you go. I'm gonna have to tag DJ and see if he listens.
Yeah, tag DJ. DJ knows because sometimes on our rides up to Dojo Wars, I don't have Snapchat, but everyone else in the car will. So they'll all pull their phones out, point them at me, and we'll all record Snapchats and send them to DJ of me calling him out. So he knows. He gets them on his phone. He's just driving there or sitting at the dojo, listening to his phone buzz, and he opens it up and it's 3 videos of me calling him out. so he knows. But
That's
tag
great.
him.
All right, now Max, how can people reach you on social media if they want to get in contact with you?
Sure, my Twitter is MaxCaster, that's MaxCaster, and my Instagram is Caster Show. Those are the only 2 I have. I have a Facebook that's I don't really accept fans unless I have something to promote. So when I have a new Tweener t-shirt, I will make a mass acceptance of all the fans that have tried to accept me or request me, and they'll all know about my t-shirt very, very quickly. So
and you have your own YouTube too, right?
I mean, I that's just to post up the promos now. So yeah, it's the Max Caster. So I couldn't get my name on that one, unfortunately. But yeah, you can check out the YouTube. It's all on my Twitter. Go to my Twitter. It's all there.
That's true. He's always posting stuff on his Twitter.
It's there. I'm old fashioned. I'm a Twitter guy. I came up in the genesis of Twitter. So as big as Snapchat and Instagram get, I'm always a Twitter guy.
Yeah, I don't have those either. I'm stuck with just Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, I'm way too old fashioned for all this new stuff. So yeah, check me out on Twitter. I'll be tweeting things.
Okay. Well, all right, everybody. We're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we will see you back next time. Have a good day, everybody.